I know you were gonna message her, and like, dude, like that just caused so many problems. Like, you know what that did to me? Do you know what you did to me? Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Carl. Thank you so much for all your love and support. It really means so much to me. Thank you so much. Quiero mucho. If you guys want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is just like the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below. And your comment can possibly be the next notification shout out. So I just want to say thank you guys so freaking much for all your positive feedback, your guys' love on my previous story time. It really means a lot. You guys left a lot of very nice comments to me. How do you say that? That sounds weird, huh? You guys left a lot of nice comments, and I read them. I read them all. I might not be able to reply. Like I have so much babies, everything. I wish I can. I swear I'm just gonna dedicate a whole day just to replying to comments. And you guys seriously mean so much to me. It really does touch my heart. You guys just get me more than like any other person that I know, like in real life, where I'm like, holy, this is crazy. Like if we were to link up, we would definitely just be like inseparable. We'd probably be like besties. We're besties now, but like, you know what I mean? Like in life besties, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just so freaking crazy. I cry when I read your guys' comments. I laugh. It's just one of those feelings of just like, oh my God, like it just feels really good in my heart. I just want to tell you guys, I really do appreciate you guys leaving your guys' comments. It really means a lot to me, and it definitely really helps me out. So I want to say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you so much. And if you're having a really bad day, I'm sending my vibes to you guys, picking out all the bad vibes, throwing them away, picking them out, throwing them away, because we are just here just to talk, baby, and just have a good time. Let's just sit back, relax. Let me know what you guys are doing, where you guys are driving. If you guys are cooking, definitely let me know down below. I would love to know. And thank you guys for commenting too, to help out with the YouTube algorithm. It really means a lot. I was reading some of your guys' comments were like, leaving this here so YouTube notifies me next time, or you guys are just leaving hearts, and I really do appreciate that, you guys. Like it really does mean a lot. And I know you guys are like, okay, Lex, shut up, we get it. No, I really do mean it. Okay, so let's go and let's begin. I kind of want to do a look for February. So we left off Joe thinking he's cool, talking to me like, can't believe you did that to me, can't believe you reached out to her. I hate when people play the blame game of grimy things that they did, like how could you call her, how could you do that to me. It really pisses me off to like inside. I don't know how many times I've been told that, like, why did you call so-and-so, or why did you ask so-and-so this when I told you this? Like it really irritates me when someone does that. It just screams guilty. I don't care how they try to dress it up, it just screams to me that way. So we're talking sort of like screaming, and I'm upset because he had told me that he wasn't talking to her anymore, and that pretty much that he was just waiting on me. And I was letting him back into my bubble, and it just felt like a smack in the face, especially because I felt like I was with the ex and I was always competing with these other girls, and now I thought like, okay, maybe Joe was going to be the one and I have to compete with this other girl. Like, are you serious? Like, did he think that like I was just gonna be okay with it because of what the ex was doing and all the BS that I put up with him? And that's another thing too. A lot of people get comfortable disrespecting you because they see how others treat you and what you allow others to do, and it sucks. There's people even now where I'll talk to them and we'll be reminiscent on some BS that like they went through, I went through, and I see that they try and still kind of like do that, and I'm like, I just told you so-and-so was grimy and did this, and then you're gonna really try to repeat the pattern to see that if you can get away with it, and then they want to get smart and be like, well, so-and-so did it. Like, that's so annoying. I hate when people do that, and it really aggravates me. At the same time, I get mad at myself because I do it in this way, okay? Someone will do something. I'm not gonna say someone, I'm gonna be straight up, okay? My mom. She, I feel like, will be upset with me, but the piece of crap that she was with, she would let him talk to her and like make up with him, but would still give me like the cold shoulder, and I would have to like I feel like I would have to do the most to like make it up to her, or like talk to her. Do you know what I'm saying? So like that's how I'm saying I would do it. Maybe it's different, maybe it's the same, I don't know, but I would always hate that. And so that's when I would throw it in her face and be like, okay, well, you let so and so And I feel like it's a little bit different because like she's my mom. I think it's different when friends do it, but I could be biased. It's like, no, Alexis, it's the same thing. And sometimes I have to talk to myself and be like, it's the same thing. And then sometimes I'm like, it's not the same thing. So I don't know. Is it the same thing, you guys? When it comes to your parent, is it different? I don't know. I always hated feeling like my mom was quick to forgive others, even like my brothers. But I think that's just I think that some moms do with their sons. I feel like some moms are very forgiving when it comes to their sons versus how they are with their daughters. I feel like my brothers could do wrong, and my mom could look past it because all this or all that, and very quick with the excuses for them. But when I would do like a mess up and stuff, like, no, like I was in trouble. Like, nope, you know better. It's always, you know better. Nope, you know better. And it just freaking sucks because I don't want to know better sometimes. Sometimes I want to touch the stove and be like, I forgot. I didn't know it was hot. Sorry. Unfortunately, I know better. You know better. And sometimes when I hear myself, when my kids do something and I tell them like, you know better, it's a constant battle in my head. And my husband tells me it's not the same. Us raising our kids is not the same of like what you went through. And sometimes I think that's why I'm a little bit too lenient, because I feel like my mom was super hard on me. And so my husband has to kind of check me back into reality sometimes. Like, stop. It's hard, you guys. It's hard. I'm part of so many mommy groups because this is so freaking hard, you know, going through what you did as a teen, and then you become an adult, you become a parent, and it's really hard, you know, to just navigate through parent life and just life in general. And I really appreciate how you guys like my little mini rants in between, because I swear sometimes when I talk to like other people, it's like a full on where I feel like I talk too much. Have you feel like you ever talk too much and you're like, I'm sorry, like you took over the conversation? I'll be apologizing all the time, and then I hear you guys in the back of my head of stop it right now. So let's begin. So we're kind of going back and forth with me telling him like, I thought you told me this, and he is just trying to pretty much just place the blame on me, that why did I, you know, reach out to her. He's not wanting to hear me about how could you do this, like how could you tell me one thing and then do another. He kept just trying to go back to, no, you hurt me by reaching out to her, why did you do that? And I had to keep like looking at him like, do you not hear me? Do you not hear me, Joe? I just said, you told me that you weren't talking to her anymore and it was just me. So I was repeating to him like all the nice things that he was saying to me, like how he wanted me, right? Like, no, Alexis, it's just you. I just want you. If I have to wait forever, like you're the one, you're my happy place. And I'm like repeating it, and he just turns to me and tells me, I can see why the ex would want to put you in the face. I was just like, okay, that sent me all the way back, because I remember when my stepdad pretty much like freaking choked me, and well, not pretty much, he freaking choked me. He literally freaking put his hand on my throat and was choking me, and my mom pretty much kind of like excused him by saying like, you just make people want to do that, dude. You just make people want to put their hands on you. Like, so when he said that, it was just like, you know how in that Boy Was Good Avengers, and he goes poof and they hits the chest and kind of just knocks them out. That's how I felt. I literally felt like it was just like a what? Like I just felt like shut down. And when people do shit like that to you, you honestly feel like you're the problem for them wanting to be abusive. So don't ever feel like, you know what, this is like the second person who has said that. The third for me, right? Maybe I do deserve to get hit. No, you fucking don't. Don't. The only reason why people use that as an excuse is because you have confided in them and told them about you getting, you know, beat and stuff like that. So they think like, okay, this is why. So when he said that, the woman was too stunned to speak. I really was. I was like how do we go forward? Like what do I say from that? So I'm just there. And he's pissed, right? He's doing the, I don't know why guys bite their lips all the time. Like sometimes when girls do it, I'm like, that's cute. But like when guys overly do it, it's just kind of, it could be a turn off like this. Like something I thought once was cute. Ahora, yeah, Like, that's cool. Ugh, stop doing it. Like, what are you doing? So in my head, I'm like body slamming him, right? Beating his ass in my head. But of course, I'm not gonna put my hands on him. You know, I wanted to give him that good novela slap, that don't ever talk to me again, you know? So I just kind of just look at him and he's mad, right? He's just like, what? You got nothing to say? What? Oh my God, don't even take that to heart what I just said. Like, man, you so sensitive. Like, what, Joe? I'm bugging you. I'm not the one who showed up at your spot, okay? I didn't go to you, you came to me, so what? Like, can you just hurry up and finish what you gotta say? Stop talking to me like that. Yo, like, that pisses me off. Like, don't rush me. And then I get kind of scared because I'm like, what if he does put his hands on me? Because, like, I'm irritating him with how I'm talking. Because obviously this person thinks that it's okay to, you know, say what he just said to me and want to put his hands on me. So I'm like thinking like, okay, what should I do? So I start going into like survivor mode with the whole like, I didn't mean anything I said anyways, okay? You know what, Joe, you're right. It's me. I don't know why I did it. I'm just super insecure. So I wrote her, I'm sorry. That was like an invasion of privacy. I shouldn't have done that. It's my fault. He looks at me and he's like, you mean that? Or you're just saying that? Cause like, I don't even know what you, cause like, you're not stupid. Like you act stupid, but you're not stupid. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to get hit. So I'm just telling you what you want to hear so I can get the back inside. Okay. So I'm like, no, like, yeah, like it's on me. And I just look at him and inside, I'm like, never gonna give this guy a chance again. Never gonna let him woo me again. F this dude. Like, really? Like, you really said that? So he gets closer to me and I'm scared because he just said that, like, not that long ago, he said that he wanted to, like, hit me, right? So I'm, like, scared. I flinch and he's like, oh, like, come on now. I didn't even flinch dramatically. You know how there's, like, those times where you're like, oh my God. No, I didn't even flinch like that. It was just, like, it was a quick, like, oh, like that, okay? I apologize. Don't apologize. But if you ever feel like you're in danger, make sure that you are careful. And I know that sounds really messed up, but do make sure that you are careful because people are twisted, okay? So I tell him, like, you know, like, I'm sorry. And he just is like, can I hug you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I let him hug me, and the whole time he's hugging me, I'm just like, okay, when is this gonna be over so I can just get back inside? So he tells me, like, can we sit down for a minute? And I'm like, no, not really. Like, I gotta get back inside. Like, my mom's friend told me I could only be out here for a little bit. And he's like, so what? Like, we're gonna be right here. Like, what is she gonna do? Well, I'm staying with her, Joe. Like, I don't wanna piss her off. And he's like, well, can I just, like, have, like, a couple minutes? Like, damn, like, I came all the way over here and I'm grounded. Like, my mom's gonna be pissed. I'm like, yeah, so even more reason for you to, like, go. And he just, like, keeps looking at me. And I know in his head, like, you know when someone's thinking, he's probably thinking, like, oops, I messed up on this one. So I'm telling him, like, you should just go. And I even start to be, like, a little bit nicer to him because I just want him to leave. I don't even want something bad to happen. I don't want us to leave on bad terms. I want things to, in a messed up way, end good so that I feel safe. Because I honestly did not like what he said. And I feel like people always try to justify it by, like, them being messed up. Like, oh, it's because, like, at the heat of the moment. Like, nah, like, you don't say stuff to people like that. Like, it's just, it's messed up. It's disgusting. Like, what's wrong with you? Who raised you, bitch? It's Mrs. Bubbles, but, like, you know better, bitch. But anyways, so he can sense that I'm, like, not feeling it. So he decides to knock on the door. He knocks on my mom's friend's door. She answers it, and her face is kind of like, you know, like, what? Do you think I can talk to Alexis a little bit longer? Like, I don't want to overstep, but, like, I just want to talk to her. If it's okay if we just sit right here. And she's looking at me, and I'm like that, you know, like, no. And he looks back at me, and I'm just like that, you know? And she's like, no. I told her she could only talk to you for a few minutes, and that's it. She needs to get back inside. And he's like, okay, thank you, ma'am. He's just standing right there. She leaves the door open. He's looking at her. She's looking at me. She's like, hurry up, get inside. So I tell Joe and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, well, bye. Thanks for coming. And he doesn't even acknowledge me or anything. He just turns right back around and gets in the car. As soon as I get inside, I start talking to Skillet and I start talking to my mom's friend, and I'm like, he's crazy. Like, he is crazy. Like, did you not hear what he was saying outside? And Skillet is just like looking at me and she's like, yeah, I don't know what it is about you. I don't know why you attract them. Stay away from him. Like, he crazy. Like, he crazy girl. Like, nah, like, he crazy. And I look at her and I'm like, if you heard how he was talking, why the f didn't you come and get me? But no, being like opening the door, like, why are you even talking to him? And like, you couldn't save me? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, you're sick. You like that. You like to hear that kind of stuff. You're sick. I bet you get off on it. And so like, I'm all mad at her for not rescuing me. And she tells me, well, I didn't know if you were gonna get mad. I thought you had it handled. And so my mom's friend just sits on the couch and she tells me, like I told you, my mom's friend is trying to give me a whole speech of, man ain't nothing, blah, blah, blah. I don't really take any advice that she is saying because the grimy stuff that she was doing, and would kind of gloat about it. So I kind of just took whatever she said with a grain of salt and really didn't respect anything that she was saying, because it was just like, dude, shut up. Like, I couldn't even take what she was saying. But in my head, I knew like this wasn't right. Like what he just did wasn't right at all. I look at my phone, Joe texts me and was like, I apologize. I know I acted out. I'm just upset, and just, you know, you're the only girl that drives me crazy like this. And I'm not even saying that disrespectfully. I'm saying that as a compliment. That is not a compliment. Don't ever think that's a compliment when a dude tells you, you're the only one who gets me like this because I just like love you so much. No. No. When you love somebody, when you like somebody, you do not treat them like, you do not unleash this demon and think like, oh, it's because like I really love. No. No. That's stupid. That's childish. That's dumb. They have heard people close to them, whether it be like a mom, a tia, their dad, tell them some stupid like that. So they think like, yeah, it's valid. It's valid because so-and-so said it. The ex, for his reasoning of acting like a pendejo stupido, was because his dad was a pendejo stupido. And his mom would say, it's because estás igual como tu papá. You love hard. You love with all your heart. And you love someone like that, it hurts. Shut the up. No. And stop excusing people for being assholes. Like, oh, it's because they like you. That's why they act like that. It's because they like. No, stop doing that. Stop putting that out there. Like, oh, it's because, no, if you like someone, you're nice. Don't act like a piece of poop. Like, how can people justify their stupid behavior like that and be like, oh, it's because I really like you, or it's because he really likes you, that's why he's doing it? No, that's, what is wrong with you? No, that's toxic. That's not okay. That's how people die. Like, what the is wrong with you? Like, are you okay? No, who raised you? You don't say stuff like that. Stop. It really infuriates me when I even read that online where people are like, oh, it's because he really likes you, that's why he's acting stupid, that's why he lost his temper, it's because, you know, he just gets really jealous because he likes you. Girl, no, that's not okay. Stop always trying to mask that and try to put a pretty bow on it and be like, it's because of, no, it's still shit. You could put a bow on a piece of shit and it will still be, it will still stink. Doesn't matter how you dress up a piece of poop, it will still reek. It doesn't matter if you try to paint that piece of poop, it will still reek. Okay? Stop it. It infuriates me like a mother. Stop it. So I don't reply back to him. I'm literally disgusted. I'm hurt. I'm pissed off. I'm like mad because how could I again be doing this? Again. And I'm starting to think like in my head, it wants to start thinking toxic of maybe it is you. Maybe you do attract this and maybe you low-key do like it. And that's why people do this and you know, rile them up. No. So I was constantly fighting in my head like, no, stop doing that. Like, stop trying to excuse it. Stop. And that's why your mom, that's why she, you know, she loses her temper with you because like you're a difficult child and like, how can everybody like, nah, Lex, like, nah. So I'm just fighting in my head, and Skillet's like, hey, you good? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you sure? Dude, f that kid. And I'm like, yeah, just. And so I start crying to her and I'm like, there has to be something wrong with me for them to like want to hit me. And she's like, no. So I'm crying. My mom's friends tells me like, I'm not good at this, but like you'll be good. Like you're good. He's just trying to make you feel like how you're feeling right now, and he's probably just on to the next. Like you're good. And I'm like, okay. So Skillet tries to tell me that the reason why people are like this with me is because I'm an easy target, and where I am so vulnerable that it's really easy for them just to play on that. And they know that I'm pretty much damaged, so that I am just wanting love. So that's why they do it. And that's why she does it. I just look at her and I tell her I hate her, but I love her, and that I appreciate her, you know, being honest with me, even though I have been told that so many times of why people are like that with me. It's because I love too hard, I'm too nice, they know I can take it, they know I'll understand, I'm forgiving, a bunch of bull where it's so annoying, because that's why people make their heart cold, because of people like that, and they think like it's justified in treating you like that, because like, oh well, she's already been through it, it's okay. It's not okay. And I'm not saying I'm an angel either. Me fighting with him and him being all rowdy and stuff like that, and me going and going and going, I should have never went outside. I should have just been like, okay, that's it, I'm done, and actually meant it, instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna go outside, listen to him talk. Why? I didn't need to. And it's really hard to unlearn bad habits, but it's possible, because a part of me knew like what was gonna come to me going out there. Nothing. He was just gonna give me some bull and tell me that he cared about me. But mostly he wanted to go out there, wanted me to go out there because he was upset that I had wrote her. So I grab my phone, block him, don't talk to him, send Skillet home, take a bath, and I cry. I cry. And even when I was crying, I was like, why are you crying? Like, you're okay. Why are you crying? And I still remember just letting the water go and me just start thinking like crazy thoughts. Crazy thoughts because like I knew these thoughts were not okay, but I was still thinking them because I was so hurt. And I was just so I don't know how many times I've said it in this freaking diary. I am so done. That's how I felt. I kept feeling like, damn, what's next? What's next? Don't get too comfortable, because what's next? What's next? Don't get too comfortable. There's gonna be another bump in the road. Don't get too comfortable, Lex. Don't get too comfortable. I felt like everything was just getting so bad, and it wasn't just like one bad thing. It was like a bad thing, bad thing, bad thing, bad thing. And it was just like, damn, how can it be all like that all at once? Like, how is that possible? And I know people are like, oh, it comes in this amount. I hate that saying. People are like, it comes in threes. I hate it, because it's like, that's so stupid. Like, I hate it. And so you start thinking negatively, and you will even psych yourself out because of these suspicions and all this like other stuff. And so you literally start psyching yourself out because you start thinking like, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this. And so like the brain and the tongue is so powerful that like you can mess up the day just by thinking that way. So my mom's friend starts knocking on the door, and I'm thinking it's because like, oh, she's checking on me. And before I can even let her finish talking, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. She's like, okay, well, that's good to hear. Can you hurry up? I need to go restroom. And I just laugh. Like, I laugh because my dumbass was thinking like, oh, she was concerned. No, she was trying to freaking go poop. And so I laugh, and she laughs, and she's like, my bad. She's like, I told you I'm not good at this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. So I finish up, and then I just head to her room. I sit there, I don't even go on my phone. I already had set Skillet home, so I could have texted her, but I didn't want to. When I'd have moments like this, I would start thinking toxically and kind of triggering my own anxiety, because from being super, super small, I would always think, what is life? Now, if talking about stuff like this triggers you, please exit out. I started to think like, what is life? Is this real? How do I know this is real? Like, how can we be here? Like, that's so freaking crazy that we are here and we have these thoughts, and there's other people on this planet and they think like this. and they have this, and how come this and how come that? And I would always think about the Men in Black, the movie, and how at the end they open up the door and it's like a bunch of freaking tall ass aliens. And I would think like, what if we're in something like that? What if I'm kind of like a sim character and someone's playing out all this horrible stuff to happen to me? I just start freaking myself out, like, oh my god, like what is life, what is life, what is life, right? So I'm literally just like feeling bad for myself, which don't, because when you start feeling bad for yourself, you start tolerating or letting dumb stuff happen. So as I'm sitting there, I get a message and it's from the ex, and it says, what are you doing? Just simple, what are you doing? I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have done it. Doesn't make it okay. Does not make it okay. I was gonna say, but don't blame me. I was a child and I literally had not a good, it was hard to be strong so young because you want that love and affection. And I never would get it when people were like, oh, she has daddy issues. Bitch, I got both. Mommy and daddy issues. And grandma issues. So I messaged him back. Nothing, bored, what are you doing? And he asks, can you hang out? I reply, when? Knowing damn well he meant now, but I couldn't act so available because I didn't want to look desperate, even though I was desperate for some attention. I honestly thought that he was going to have to be my forever because of all the bull that I was already going through with Joe. And me and Joe didn't even do nothing. It was just not even dating. Would it be dating even though we didn't do nothing? I don't even know the rules. So I tell him I can hang out. He sends me a smiley face and is like all excited, and I was like, where can I pick you up? I tell him where he can pick me up. I get my backpack ready because I was planning to stay out. I wasn't gonna come back. I was gonna stay out, whether it be with Skillet, whether it be with this piece of crap, but I didn't want to come back anytime soon. Like, I wanted to numb myself, and I wouldn't numb myself with like drugs or anything like that or alcohol. I would numb myself with toxic love. And at times I'm like, wouldn't it have been better just to numb yourself with other stuff instead of having to deal with so much freaking pain? But no, because I would be freaking out now, like, oh my god, all of the damage that I would have done. And so no. As sucky as it sounds, I went the route that I did because I knew that that worked for me at the time. But now I have other ways of coping when I feel certain ways. She doesn't even question it. She's like, okay, she has company. So then I'm waiting for him to pick me up. He takes a long time. Like, I swear he had me on my toes and didn't want to look so available either, or so this or whatever. It takes a long time to pick me up. I felt kind of stupid waiting, so I was already walking towards the direction he was going to pick me up because I didn't want to look dumb waiting for him by the step, even though I was fuming, like, oh my god, he really had me waiting that long, like what the hell. He finally picks me up, get in the car, and he's like telling me like, what were you doing? I tell him nothing, just here. And so you could tell he kind of wanted to fight. Like, he kind of wanted to be like, why are you out? Or you could just tell. Like, you could just tell he wanted to fight. So I'm just kind of like, why'd you get in the car? Here it goes. It's gonna start. It's gonna start. But he didn't. He was just trying to make small talk. We talked a little bit about what we've been up to. And it was just like so weird. And looking back, I'm like, this was not okay. Like, this is not okay. Like, the way that we would try to resume, like, if nothing happened, and me always trying to justify it of like, well, maybe that's because like how he loved, or maybe this, maybe no. It was, none of it was good. None of it was okay at all. Like, it wasn't. And I don't know why I would always try to, well, I know why. I was a child. To okay it. It was not okay. So he asks me if I want to go see a movie, and I kind of like laughed because that's like where I saw him with Joe. And so I'm like, yeah. And he's like, or do you not want to watch a movie? I was like, no, like, I'll watch a movie. And he's like, okay, cool. So we go and watch the movie, we have fun, and I get a message from Joe, and he is just cussing me out. I guess someone had notified him that I was at the movies with my ex, and he is hurt calling me every name in the book, that he knew it, that his dad was right about my type of girl, and that he doesn't want to talk to me again, to stay away from his mom. I'm effing weird, that's what's wrong with me, and just being like really rude. And so I'm reading the messages and I'm like, yeah, like at the time I'm like thinking like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, why did I do this? Like maybe me and Joe could have worked out, which no, it was both toxic. It was all toxic. So I wasn't even like present, I guess, like in the moment with this piece of crap. And he kept telling me like, why do you keep looking at your phone? Like, do you want me just to take you back home so you can just be on your phone? And I'm like, no, like no. I'm just waiting for my mom to text me because my mom is, you know, she's in trouble again. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, right. So we're watching the movie and he tries to make a move. And I kind of just like, he gets upset and he's like, why are you acting dumb? Like, what the, so like you did stuff with that person or what? And I'm like, no, he's like, you probably did, huh? I'm like, no, I just don't want to. Like, I'm on my period. And he's like, let me feel. And I'm like, no, like I'm on my period. He's like, okay, then prove it. And I'm like, no, I'm on my period. And more stuff happens, but for the sake of oversharing and putting this on here, I know I overshare a lot, but I know there's some stuff where you guys are like, ooh, that's too much, Lex. And I'm like, sorry about that. Sorry. So yeah, so I'm like, no. And so we start to argue. He starts to get upset because I'm not allowing him to. And he's like, why not? Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you acting like this? Like, you said it was mine. And when just because you tell someone and they're trying to be cute with you, you're like, oh yeah, is this mine? And you're like, yeah, it's yours, okay? You're not literally someone's property, okay? You do that to be like cute, like himmy ha, like, oh yeah, like it's only yours, babe. It is not a literal thing. And I hope the person telling you that doesn't freaking take it like, nope, you said you're toxic, you're sick, you're disgusting. It is not a literal thing. Knock it off, because that is gross. And you have every right to tell someone no. Do you understand? If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel comfortable, if you do not want to, you don't even have to make it an excuse like I did as a child and I said like I was on my period. It's a no. No is no. I don't care if it's your boyfriend, I don't care if it's your girlfriend, I don't care if it's your wife, I don't care if it's your husband. No is no. You're not anyone's property. You don't get to, no, you don't have to. Because they want to mope and freaking be like, oh, you never are in the mood. I don't give a fuck if you're never in the mood. No mood. No one should have to bribe you or make you feel guilty into doing that for them. No, that is something that it's consensual. It's never supposed to be forced. And that's what I didn't understand as a child. Because a lot of the times when I talk, I forget that I was a child. A lot of the times when I read and the way I would write, I forget that it was a child writing this. Because I had grown up so fast that I thought the way that I was talking, the way I was speaking, the way how we were playing house, that a lot of the things that were going on were okay, and they were not. I wish I could just, out of everybody, all the adults around me, because like what the literal was wrong with y'all? What the is wrong with y'all? Like it pisses me off to my core that I had grown ass people around me approving what was going on. And what's wrong with y'all? I can never imagine me just sitting back or watching my sons or my daughter, Angelica. I say Angelica a lot because I see myself so much in my daughter and her age, and it freaks me out where I'm just like, oh my God. I can never imagine just sitting back and just allowing so much to happen and be like, it's okay. It's okay. Está cabrona? It's okay. It's okay. No. 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 Like, even when I talk to my mom sometimes and I'm like, you know, like asking her, like, I can't believe you even let me do that, or I can't believe this. And she was like, you were tough and you wanted what you wanted and there was no talking to you. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But then I have to think about it. I was a kid. What do you mean? What do you mean? Even if I was like, I don't want to be with you, or I don't want to go with you, blah, 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 blah. Because I know she tries to be like, well, you didn't want to stay with me because like how she stayed with the, you know, my stepdad and stuff like that. Then try and move mountains and make me feel comfortable. Do what you got to do. Let's go to the shelter together. But because when it came to my brothers and stuff and you not working it out with my stepdad, you were in the shelter with my brothers. How come that couldn't have been us? Like, I really sit here and I really try, and like before I used to justify like how my mom would be like, well, it's because you were difficult. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I was strong-headed and I was kind of cabrona. For reason. Or even if I didn't want to let go of the toxic ex and stuff, I was still a child. We could have moved states. We could have done this. We could have done that. You could have put a restraining order against him. Like, hey, you cannot see my daughter and not be that. There is so much that could have been done. And I feel like he wouldn't have put up a fight. He would have been like, okay. Do you know what I'm saying? I just feel like she didn't want to try with me. Or it was just easier to be like, okay, you know what? Fine. Because it was just too much, and she was just so more focused on my brothers when she was trying to do good. And for the longest I would try to justify it, like, yeah, it's because like I had Andrew and stuff, and I had like my own little family, so that's why she didn't like, you know, really try and stuff, or this or that. No, because I was still a child. I guess it's kind of hard because my sister is the same age that I was when I left home, and I couldn't imagine my mom letting her just leave. And I don't have anger towards my sister or anything like that. Like if that's what it's coming across or anything like that. There's a TikTok that I've seen where it says like I don't hate you, but I'm jealous of you. And that's how I feel with my sister. Because I couldn't imagine my mom just letting her leave. I couldn't imagine my mom just letting her just like get up and just, and even if my mom's gonna be like, oh, it's because you're different. Like you know, she don't think like how you did and stuff. She don't, and it's like, I just feel like there's always just trying to justify giving up on me so easily, and it just sucks. It just sucks. It just really sucks. And if you are going through that, I'm so sorry. And damn it, I didn't want to cry. I love my mom, I really do, and I know she was dealing with her own demons, and I know she was doing her own stuff. I just wish things would have worked out a little bit different. And I feel like I'm trying to justify me going back to the ex too. Like trying to justify it. Because I did know he was toxic, and I did know that it was wrong. But at the same time, it was what I knew. He was my first everything. Even though I wanted to maybe have something with Joe, I was so scared of literally everything. I was so scared to have another partner because what if they had this and what if they had that, and I got sick, and I've never like explored or anything like that because I've always just been so scared. And I feel like the ex knew that too, so that's why he was probably like, what the f, when he seen me with Joe, because he knew all these thoughts that I already had. He knew everything about me when I was younger because I was so attached to him. I had blocked the number that Joe was writing me on. Oh, because he was writing from a different number. So I already had blocked him, but he was writing me from a different number, so I had to block that number. Text messages weren't coming in anymore because I had blocked that new number. And I tried to enjoy the movie. So we're arguing and we get told to shh in the movies. So we kind of quiet down, which I'm so glad, because I didn't want to have this argument of like if it's mine or if it's not. It's mine. I was born with it. Okay? You cannot have it. It is mine. I go back on my phone real quick because I see that I'm now getting private messages. Joe was writing me on a different phone, so I was blocking all the numbers that he was writing me on. I don't know how he was writing me on different phone numbers, but he was, so I was just blocking the numbers that he was writing me on because I didn't want the ex to take my phone and be like, what the f, and read something and it be something. So the movie's finishing up. I grabbed my phone and I put it in my back pocket, and these pockets were kind of deep, so like I shoved it in there, okay? Shoved it in there. Movie's over, we walk to the door. He's like trying to hold my hand, and so I gotta let him hold my hand. And he's like, what's wrong? If we didn't just have an argument, if my lady bits were mine. So I'm like, I just want to go home. And he's like, I thought you said your mom was like in trouble. And I'm like, yeah, but like I just want to go home. And he's like, you know what, you're so strong. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you're so strong. Like, everything that's going on with your mom and stuff, and like, you're still here. Like, you're so strong. He would use this tactic so much where he would try to compliment me of being strong, of like, dang, I could never, like, if my mom was in trouble, I wouldn't even be able to do anything. And in my head, I'm like, I know, bitch. I know. You can't leave her titty. I know. Yeah, I am pretty strong. Like, I remember how stupid this man would make me get all like, yeah, because I wanted that love, that attention of like him acknowledging me. So any sort of little anything, any little bait that he would throw at me, I'd be like, yeah, yeah. And it wasn't a little Alexis's fault. She just wanted to be loved. But it was so toxic because I didn't even know about love languages until him. I didn't even know like what it was until him, because I started piecing everything together where I'm like, he would overly compliment me and I would do this, or he would, so he knew. Oh dang, I didn't even know that was even something. So my phone, I could feel little vibrations of messages still coming in, and I'm like, oh my god. And a little piece of me was kind of excited that Joe was getting celoso. I was finally feeling how these two pendejos felt when they had me like this. So I was like, in my back pocket, in my head, and in my face getting complimented, but in my head I'm like, yeah, bitch, how the tables have turned. So I'm like geeked and excited because I'm like, So he's telling me like, you're so strong. I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, thanks. Like really thinking that he really is proud of me, but he's not. He just knows words of affirmation is what little Lex needed. He tells me, like, what are you trying to do? Are you hungry? Like, you wanna go eat something? Knowing damn well that his mom, how she was with food and how they were with food, and if I ate too much this. So what was he gonna use? Food. And you know what pisses me off too? Because I always think about this when I finally like left him. And I know you guys are gonna probably, like, some of you guys are gonna laugh like, what girl, you try to get you back with food? But yeah, I'm telling you like how toxic this was, where like they would withhold food from me, that he honestly would use food to like get me back. So when I finally like did leave him, when I got older, I remember him coming to my job and trying to give me food and be like, I'm just let's just have lunch together. Like I'm just trying to eat. Like you know how sick that makes me feel? And I have such a bad eating problem. Like I never really thought about it until like time had passed and I was like talking to like therapists and stuff, and like the therapist was like, well yeah, and like how I overeat because like now I feel like it's not that reason isn't valid anymore. I feel like now I just eat because I like to eat. But when I finally left him and I got into like a healthy relationship with like Rudy and stuff, and Rudy like, you want to go eat here? You know, Rudy took me to like all these restaurants like I never even knew existed. Like I never even knew this was a thing, that was a thing. Oh, here, over there. Like I never even knew that like all these places that you can eat, until Rudy would be like, yeah, you want to go here? I never even, like, it was mind-blowing. And it could have been because I hadn't even experienced much life because I was just so cooped up in that house taking care of everybody else. He would try to use food. And oh, like I was saying, like my therapist was telling me and stuff, that the reason why I probably have like that really bad habit with food is because how like they would withhold food from me, or how they would make me feel, and especially his mother's comments. And it was funny because she was bigger than me, but the way she would try to justify it of being so nasty is, well, it's because I don't want you to be big like me. I don't want, that was her way of justifying it. And my grandmother does that too. Well, used to. Now she doesn't do it, but she used to as well. But like, I'm just telling you because look how big I got. My grandma was a lot más flaquita cuando she was skinnier, when she was younger. So anytime she would try to bring up my weight, that's how they would justify it. Was like, well, I'm just telling you because of this, or I'm just telling you because of that. And so that was their way of justifying this and that. So when I finally did get to make my own money and buy my own food, I started to binge so much and eat so much where it would hurt. And I would tell myself it was okay because I might not have it later, so just finish it. And so that started, and that it was really bad. We'll go more into that when we get to that part in the series. We went to go eat because I was like, I could eat. We went out. We went to go eat some tacos. Those are my jam. I feel like I can put away like 6-10 tacos, but with him I could only put away like 2. I only could put away 2 because he'd have his comments. Sorry. Oh, story time. So it's freaking cold, guys. I had to turn on the heater, so hopefully you guys don't mind because it's a little loud, but hopefully not too loud. Back to what I was saying. Eat my 2 tacos, and he's trying to ask questions, but at the same time not overstep too much, because I'm not being super mean, but I'm being kind of like, especially because our little argument in the movie theater, he was used to me just always listening and it just going his way. He had like this power over me. It was so weird because now, if he were to have met me now, we wouldn't have got past the no, bye. It wouldn't have been my name. Nope, bye. Like, nope. Not because of like looks or anything, just because of vibe. Very bad energy, darkness, sadness, anything that you can possibly think of. That's it. And no, bye. No, hello, no, bye. That's it. Hi and bye. Not even a hi and bye. Just that's it. So we're eating. He's continuing to eat. I'm just sitting there and I'm contemplating if I should like say like, should I get something else? But I'm like, should I? Should I not? Should I not? Okay, I'm going to. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to. So I ordered another one. And he's like, you're still hungry? As he's still eating. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, okay. As we're waiting for it to come out, he starts to go on his phone. So I take that as, okay, I can go on my phone. Wrong. So as soon as I pull out my phone to go on it, he snags it and starts going through it. And he's like, let me see what you got. I don't have anything, but I am scared because I'm like, what if Joe is texting me and says something stupid or whatever it could be. He goes to the contacts to see if I have any numbers saved. I'm scared of freaking out, so I start getting a little louder and I'm like, give it back now. We get some attention from a stranger, and the stranger is an older gentleman. Well, at the time he wasn't older. He was probably my age now. And he tells him, I wasn't say his name, give it back to her. He looks at this older gentleman and tells him to mind his effing business and chucks the phone at me. The older gentleman comes by and starts to get in his face. This wasn't the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time that I have had to defend this man, because he would constantly put himself in situations where he would be like, bark, 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 bark. And I'd have to put my hand on him like, stop, stop, stop. I would literally have to yell at adults like, he is stupid, he is a child, leave him alone, because I knew he was going to get his ass handed to him. I don't know why I would step in. It was just like instant reaction that I would have where I felt the need to protect him, which makes me sick because everything that he had put me through, and I was still willing to protect him and make sure that he was good. So I'm yelling at this older gentleman just to leave him alone. I'm like, leave him alone. You're so much older than him. Stop. I'm like screaming at him, and he's like, no, he threw the phone at you. So I have this stranger defending me, and at the time I didn't feel like, oh, thank you. At the time I felt like I need to protect him. He's in danger. That's how I felt. So we ended up getting kicked out. I get in the car and I'm so scared because I'm like, I'm gonna get yelled at. He's gonna be like, it's your effing fault. And I just knew that it was going to be. I could still remember the feeling that he gives me. And it is just like a terrifying child feeling where you're like, your stomach, just imagine going on a roller coaster and you're at the very top and it's going like this back and forth, and you can feel the whatever you have in your stomach like back and forth, and you feel so wheezy. Imagine the feeling that you get when you're about to throw up and your mouth gets watery and you're trying to swallow, hoping that it's just going to pass. Your jaw's tightening up, your stomach is feeling like it's already like, oh, you're about to like, oh, you have to tighten your stomach. Imagine that feeling, and imagine the feeling of just feeling nauseated and your eyes starting to pulsate because you feel like you're going to cry, so you're trying to not, and you feel all this just clenched. Imagine your back feeling so tight, like if you could feel something in the back just like whispering on your neck, blowing on your neck, and you can just feel it, so your back starts tightening up. You feel like vomiting. Your eyes are freaking pulsating, has a little heartbeat. Your throat feels like it's in a knot when you can't breathe, so you start going, trying to catch your breath, and you're trying to think of everything possible that you could have said different, how you could have worded things differently. Why did you go for the phone? Why did this? You keep trying to think that you could go back in time and just maybe switch just the last couple of seconds, and all you just have is regret. And as you're thinking all of this, you're not thinking about what this person is doing or anything like that. In the moment, you're just thinking about everything that's going on, and then before you know it, you just feel that. And it's not even pain that you feel. It's just like pressure. You don't even know what the heck just went on. And then you snap back into reality, and it's your head bouncing from the hitting the window. And you're just like, and you snap back and you're like, do I say something? Because I'm supposed to be like, ouch, that hurt. But did it hurt? Because I was just so honed in on what I was thinking about and what I was feeling that I didn't even get to feel pain. Or is it just my body protecting me because I'm so freaking numb to the pain? Or do I even say anything because it's gonna go further and we're just gonna argue even more? And as you're still thinking that, whack! Again, your head smacks the window, bounce back. And your only reaction is to cry. Not because of pain, because you just feel like, fuck. What next? What's next? Can I catch a break? Why? Why is this my storyline? Why do I have to feel this? Why? Why can't I just be normal? Why can't I just be back at home with my mom, us watching TV on the couch, my brother's running around? Why? Why can't it be normal? Why can't I have that feeling of normalcy? Why? Why? And then you just hear beep, your ear just ringing. Just ringing. Then you just look over and you're freaking crying. The person's just looking at you, just pissed off, disgusted. And all you can say is, please take me home, please take me home, please take me home. Because you just want to be like Alice in the Wonderland, just hitting her feet together. No place like home, or whatever she says, and you're just like, please take me home, please take me home. You're wishing that there was such a thing as magic and you can just boop, and just get out of the situation. You're wishing that you could just reverse time, rewind time, fast forward, whatever, so you can just get out of this feeling that you're having and not go through this. And you can't help but think, why me, why me, why me, why me, why me? And then those toxic thoughts come in your head of, why not you? What makes you so special? Why you? There's billions of people in the world. Why not you? There's other people who have it worse, and you complain about this? So you just shut down and you stop talking. And anytime you hear the person utter anything, you can't even hear what they're saying. They're just speaking, and all you can just say back is, please take me home, please take me home, please take me home. The person becomes very agitated and keeps pushing you, say something else, or you're not listening to me, and all you can repeat is, please take me home, please take me home, please take me home, because you are just stuck in that loop of repeating, and you're hoping that if you say it for the 5th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, that they will just, and that would just be the magic word. Maybe I gotta say it 10 more times, maybe I gotta say it 20 more times, just for it to stop. But it doesn't. And you continue to get yelled at, you continue to get blamed of, why did you do this? Or why did you do that? And you embarrassed me. And so I just screamed. I screamed like a banshee. I screamed so loud that my voice went dry. That's how loud I screamed. I didn't even say anything. I just screamed. Then he looked at me and said, what the f is wrong with you? You can't talk, you can't talk, you can't use words. And I just tell him, can you just take me home? And he says, no, not until you talk to me. And then I say, okay, about what? And he gets even more frustrated, starts scratching his head, and then just gets quiet and just starts to drive and speed. And I'm like freaking out, thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I am going to die. I'm going to die. But this is the mind game that this person is playing, because they know that I am so scared of what? Of death. Even though there were so many times I thought about it and I didn't want to continue, I was still scared. I was still scared of the punishment and the hurt that I would leave my brothers. I was still scared, so I didn't do it. This person knew how to read me like a book. Like it really, I was like, damn, am I this transparent? Where this person can just read me, my every single thought? I would even think like, does this person have superpowers and can they read my brain right now? And so I would purposely be like, in my head, thinking that like if they just made like a look at me, I'd be like, oh, they heard me. Because who can know someone this freaking good that they know exactly what buttons to push and how to play and how to just have me like this, where I was just so scared to move that way. I was so scared to move any way because this person knew my next move. So he's speeding and I'm staying quiet because I don't want to irritate him. And I'm just thinking like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We finally get close to an area that we know where cops post up. And so he slows down. I breathe a sigh of relief. My toes can uncurl because they were so curled up that I was starting to get a cramp underneath the heel of my foot, because where I was trying to press down that imaginary freaking brake, I started to cramp up. And I just go, I look over his way, just trying to read his face, and all is just anger. My mouth is still watering. I'm still trying to swallow. We get closer to the area where he's going to drop me off, and I just keep trying to think of like, okay, what do I say? Like, do I just open the door and do I just leave? Do I say like, thanks for the tacos? Do I say anything at all? Do I apologize? What do I say? My phone begins to vibrate. I don't even want to look at it in fear that he's going to grab it and just chuck it out the window. Because I don't know what this person's going to do. I don't know how irritated he is. I keep thinking like what I did was not wrong. Right? We get closer to the place where he's going to drop me off at. He doesn't even pull in all the way and just stops. He doesn't even have to tell me to get out. I just immediately react like if it was a normal thing to do. Before I can even get all the way out, takes off and the door just slams. Start walking and there's a gentleman outside and he is lighting his cigarette and he is just looking at me. I get all freaked out, pull out my phone, and I see all these missed calls that I have from a private number, and I continue to dial my voicemail. And I listen to my voicemail and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm right outside. Yeah, I see you. Because this gentleman is just looking at me and he's giving me the creeps. I'm listening to the voicemails and it is Joe and he's cussing me out. Never to talk to him again. You make me like this. And so it was just a bunch of just like toxic. And I wanted to play into that because I was like, okay, if this one doesn't love me, I'm gonna go to this one. But then I was like, no, like what's wrong with you? Like I would really have these talks with my child self and be like, what is wrong with you? Like honestly, what is wrong with you? So I get the phone and I message Skillet and I tell Skillet like, I want to do something so crazy that I normally wouldn't do. And she writes me back quick. You're tripping, what's going on? What happened? You know, you're just gonna regret it. You good? You wanna come over? So we began to small talk and I'm like, you know what, just come pick me up. Like, I just want to do something stupid. I'm so used to like having fun, but always trying to play it safe because God forbid I don't know better. So I hit her up, hit up other couple friends that like I shouldn't have hung out with. They come and pick me up. As they come and pick me up, we decide to go to a friend's little kickback. Now, every time I see this certain like post where it says I could have got kidnapped at this age, I was out doing this, I was out doing that, I always thank my guardian angel because they were working overtime. And I say they because I know they had to take breaks because I was probably 24/7 at this, you know? I go to this little kickback and we're just all hanging out. There was men we should have not been hanging out that were way older than us, and at the time I would always think like, oh, it's because like, you know, we're mature for our age. No ma'am, those were perverts, those were pigs. And I feel like a lot of people try to always justify the pervert because they're cool, they buy the beer, they know what we're going through, they understand us. No other adults can understand us, but this one does. He's cool and he gives us rights. Yeah, like he's totally awesome. No, he's a pervert. He's a pervert. He's a pervert. What are you doing? What 25, 26-year-old is hanging out with a bunch of little teenagers who are 13, 14, 15, 16? Huh? Tell me. Who? A pervert. That's who. A freaking pervert. And it's not okay. And I feel like back then I always would justify like, oh, it's because like we knew too much for our age, it's because we looked older than what we were. They knew our ages, and it really pisses me off when I really like think about it. And even when I talk to a few friends that I still talk to now, and I'm like, dude, like what the F, like I cannot believe, you know, and they'll be like, no, it's okay though, because like I knew what I was doing, like, and I wanted, no, what? No. And I'm dealing with my own battle with me, because I always tell you guys, it's really easy for me to give you guys advice and be like, no. But when it comes to me, I always try to justify the people who have hurt me. I always try to justify it because I knew better, because I was always constantly shoved down my throat of you knew better, and me like, oh, you know, yeah, I did like, you know, this person's attention, they were nice to me. At the end of the day, that person groomed me, they were older than me, way older than me. No, you know, and that's for a story for a later date, but that's something that I've been dealing with because that was not okay. And I feel like a lot of people always try to justify the perverts all the time, all the time. And even my family is guilty of it too, where they're okay with having a pervert in the family because yes, he's old already. Who gives a fuck if he's old? I don't care. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? He said he was sorry. Who cares? And I know you guys are gonna be like, but Lex, remember you said like it's hard for you too because I don't talk to my stepdad. I don't talk to him. The only reason I would ever talk to him is because of my brothers. When I had my brothers and I would have to talk to my stepdad, it fucking killed me. It would, oh, like I don't know how to explain the feeling that it would give me, you guys. Like, even though I told my mom like I forgave him and stuff and that it was fine, I feel like I was just trying to fool myself because like I knew that like my mom loved him. And I don't, because I'm like, is that manipulation? Where it's like, I just said it just so she would be happy, but like deep down inside, I was pissed because I wanted her to choose me. Is that manipulation? Like, I have a sister who came after the fact. I don't hold any ill will against my sister, but it pisses me off. because in a way I feel guilty because I told my mom like it was okay, I forgave him, but I didn't, because at the end of the day he knew better. What he did was wrong, and I feel like I'm always trying to justify people's actions. With him, what he did was wrong. I never wanted the attention. He was wrong. But the second person who hurt me, who was way older than me, he was wrong. But I was so young and dumb, and I say dumb because I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have, you know, wanted that attention. And I'm not trying to blame myself. At the same time, it's hard not to blame myself because I know better. Like, and I'm not even saying that like trying to be smart. It's like, oh, I know better. Like, no, like I know better. Like, you know, it's one of those things where it's so hard not to, and I'm not ready to talk about it, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's going to take place in a future story time, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it, to be honest, you guys. Like, I'm not even ready to talk about that particular person because I run into that particular person, and it's so weird because I'm still dealing with it, and it's a struggle. Stop normalizing having a pervert in the family. You don't understand the kind of effects that it takes on somebody because they always will try to justify it when bad stuff happens. And that's why there's like a repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And it's very few of those who say never me. Like, I will never tolerate that and actually mean it. Because there's some people who are like, shh, I shouldn't have said that because look at this, you know? But yeah, it's not okay. We had no business hanging out with people who were in their late 20s, early 30s. And they had no business hanging out with us. And when I look back and I think about it, I'm just like, how did other people think this was okay? Like, honestly, like, how did other people see us hanging out with people and be like, this was okay? It wasn't. It was never okay. And I feel like deep down we kind of knew, but we liked that attention because we were so broken in a way, and they played on that knowing that we didn't have moms and we didn't have dads, and we were around a bunch of people who have failed us, so they were trying to be heroes, you know, come in and like, oh, save the day, but they were predators. So you gotta be careful with people like that. You gotta be careful. People who watch me who are, you know, struggling and going through it, you don't necessarily have to be young for someone to seek out and play on you and be a predator. This goes for everybody. When someone knows your weaknesses or can see, or if you kind of, you know, overshare, it's very easy for you to become a target for people to like play on that. And even now, like when I do story times and stuff, like you would think people would be like, oh, like she's been through a lot, like I don't want to hurt Lex. Hell no. Hell no. People will try and play on that. People will, you know, try and friend me just for that reason too. Or even family, you know, will see that like I posted and I'm like, oh, not feeling like the best, or like I'm like down in the spirits, and they'll try and come around and be like, oh, hey, like you want me to come over and we can like play with makeup, or, and some are genuine and it's like I can feel like they're being genuine, and some are like just waiting until like, okay, they're done, like not like really rubbing my back, but like rubbing my back to be like, okay, this is when I should ask her, right? So it's like so obvious. Conversation, this is how it'll go. I'll post something like, hey, I'm kind of sad today, you guys, or something like that, right? Okay, someone will come in. Hey Lex, you trying to go get coffee or something? Like I've been feeling kind of blue too, like let's see if we can link up. Me, all right, bet, yeah, let's go do a little shopping or whatever. All right, cool, like I'll go pick you up. Okay, cool. And it's fine, we can meet. Okay, cool, we go and meet. Hanging out, having fun, having coffee. It's all chill vibes, all chill vibes. And then they'll be like, hey Lex. I'm like, oh, hey, like, what's up? So I have an event coming up. You think you could do my makeup? Oh yeah, for sure, like that's cool. Okay, flies over my head, like not even, like I didn't even think about it, right? Okay, yeah, cool. And then we go and look at some makeup and stuff. Like, oh, this one's really nice, but yeah, it's too much for me. You probably get these all the time, huh? Let me find out you have a backup that you can give me. Boom. And it just starts happening like that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like with makeup. It can just be like with anything. And it's just, it sucks. So be careful what you share, because people will think like, oh, that's the weakness, that's how I can get in. So be very careful, because there's people out there just ready to play. Like people who are like, I don't know how people can be addicted to gambling, like who could do that and stuff like that. people are out there just doing this and they just get like a high off of it. Like, it's so weird where, I don't know, you don't even get it. Or people are in that thing of like competition and like, or trying to compete with you, and it's like, you competing with yourself, because that's what I'm doing. I don't compete with me, I'm competing with myself. Me, myself, and I. Okay, that's who I'm competing with. Or you'll just get the people who are just get happy like when you're feeling down in the dumps, are quick to message you when you're down in the dumps and be like, oh, are you okay? But when you're like, oh, in a good mood, you know, God is good and happy, and like you can just visibly see that you're happy or you accomplished something, they're not gonna be like, oh, good for you, congrats. Always quick to comment when it's on the bad, but never on the good. Be careful with people like that. You gotta really pay attention, because people will show you. They will. And sometimes it could just be like that coincidence, and sometimes you gotta allow coincidence to happen. But when it becomes too much and it becomes a pattern, baby, you better catch the pattern. You better start connecting the dots. Back to what I was saying. So we had no business hanging out with these people. Nothing happened that night, but it shouldn't have happened. We shouldn't have been hanging out. We shouldn't have been drinking with grown men. It shouldn't have happened. So we're hanging out, this little kickback. I'm with my friends, mainly Skillet. Me and Skillet were kind of catching the vibe that these, like, you know, older men were getting a little bit like too drunk. And I think where our guards are always up, we kind of knew like, okay, like we need to chill. So they kept trying to give us drinks. Rule. Never drink out of a cup someone gave you. You always pour it yourself, or you see it being poured, and if you leave it unattended, don't pick it back up. I don't care. I don't care if you laid it there and you thought you kept your eye on it, boom, something can happen like that. Okay? Like I think I was roofied when I was with my husband, and if my husband wasn't there with me, oh my God, I don't know what would have happened. But that's another story time. Like, I'm telling you. Thank God, I'm telling you, guardian angels and my babe was one that night. Anyways, so we were already feeling like things were like, it was a little too much. So me and her are sitting together, and she's telling me like, you trying to like leave? Like, what are you trying to do? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm not gonna go back to my mom's friend's house. Like, can I stay with you? And she's like, yeah, like you can always stay with me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So they're asking, we'll call these guys Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead are like, yo, y'all are leaving? And they seem kind of like annoyed, and they're like, here, like take this drink, like why aren't you taking it? And I'm like, no, like I'm good. And my friend and Skillet was like, yeah, like I'm good, like we gotta, you know, we gotta head back, like my mom's gonna be back soon. Like we're coming up with lies like this because we want them to know, like we might, you know, be some like kids out on the street, but like we gotta get back home because mom, okay, my mom. So he was like, I thought you said this and this about your mom. And she's like, yeah, but she's back now and she's good. And they look at me and they're like, and you? And I was like, I need to get back because my dad. I used to always say I had a dad, but I didn't. And they're like, oh yeah. And I know that they didn't believe our bull. You can just tell. And even now when I'm older and like I try to get BS, you know, I'm just like, damn, that's how I sounded. We're like telling them and stuff, and then I just take out my phone. And I dialed my mom's friend. Because I was already getting like a weird feeling like they're gonna make it an issue. Because when we told them like they were leaving, they were like, okay, did you give anyone our address? And this has happened twice. I remember this has happened twice. I was with another friend, and I was with another friend, her name's Biscuit. And I remember when we were trying to leave, the mom didn't want to give us the address for us to get picked up. Like it was shady. Like I remember my friend Biscuit and stuff, like the boy that she was with, he took her phone and stuff, and I had told her like I don't have a good feeling about him, and she was like, I like him. And I was like, I don't have a good feeling. But anyways, he ended up doing her dirty. And I remember we were trying to leave, and like we were trying to get a ride, and I was like, well, they need to know like the address. And they're like, go out in the street, like we're not gonna give our address. Like it was weird. Like the mom was shady as I don't know. The mom gave me like she would cover, like it was weird. I don't know. But anyways, now to the story. He was like, did you give anyone our address? And then Skillet was like, yeah, as soon as we got here, I had to message my mom to give her the address. And he's like, why'd you do that? And he looked pissed, like put down his drink, and he's like, why'd you do that? And then she's like, why not? Like, my mom needs to know where I'm at all times. And then he's like, your mom don't give a about you, so why'd you do that? And she's like, well, she gave a about me now, so that's why I had to do it. And then he's like, what's the #1 rule? And he goes like this and looks at his like homies and stuff, and they're like, don't give out the addy. And he was like, so what are we gonna do? Because Skillet didn't listen. And he's like, starts moving and like, you know, this. And then I don't know why, what's wrong with me, but at times I would get like mouthy, and I shouldn't have. I stepped in front of Skillet and I was like, well, she did, and no one's gonna do anything about it, so I don't know why you're talking like if something's gonna happen. Skillet grabs my hips and like pulls me closer to her, and I just kind of like wrap my hands around her like if I'm, you know, protecting her. He starts laughing and he's like, no, we have rules around here. So what happens when we break the rules? And so I'm still holding her, and I was like, I don't give a if we broke the rules. I'm telling you that we're leaving. And we gave her mom the address, so if something happens to us, she knows where to come. And so I had dialed my mom's friend, right? So I have my phone like this, and she can hear, because like the call had went through, and you can hear kind of like, you know, when someone's screaming in a phone, and it was that. And so like the room's quiet, so we can hear her going, Alexis, like screaming, right? And so I grab it and I'm like this, I'm like, hello. And then I'm like, yeah, we're here. I'm like, what's the address? And I look over at Skillet, and Skillet has the phone, and she's like, this, so we're at 1313. And I was like, da, 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 da. I was like, can you come get us? Like, this guy's not letting us leave. He's 26 years old. And then she's like, what the? I'm getting my shoes on right now. Don't do nothing. Stay on the phone with me. And I was like, yeah, I'll stay on the phone with you. And so I'm talking to her, and I'm not even looking at him, but I could just feel him coming over me, and he's like breathing. Okay, you ever feel like hot breath just like coming down? Hot breath. I feel like he melted my mustache. And so I'm just like, I don't even want to look up, because if I feel like if I look at him wrong, he's just gonna go like that, right? I'm like one arm like this, and I'm like talking like this. I'm like, okay, I'll stay on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. We're gonna wait for you outside. And so as we're not even turning, we're backing up like this, like we're gonna back up. We're backing up, and he calls her name, Skillet. And I keep backing up, and I'm like, keep backing up. And he goes, Skillet. She moves my hand, and she's going to approach him. And so I can still hear my mom's friend like talking in my ear, giving me, you know, she's yelling at me. She's like, you know, like, why do you do this? Like, your mom is not here, like you can't be doing this. I got like my own to take care of, like what the F are you thinking? And she's like yelling at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm like I can't hear. And she's like, what do you mean you can't hear? He takes that as like I can't hear her, and as my friend's walking to him, he knocks my phone down. Good thing phones were like back then, and they went through a lot. I feel like my phone went through a lot. It didn't hang up, and I looked at him, and then Skillet's like, what the are you doing? And then he was like, what? Like he acted like what? He didn't do nothing. And then all his like homies started laughing and stuff, and I pick up the phone right like quick, and as I pick up the phone, he tries to like hit me like with his knee, and like I moved, and I grabbed the phone, and I just grabbed Skillet, and we're running outside. We ran outside, and we're just waiting. It's like a kind of like a kind of like townhouses. We're waiting outside, and we kind of go in, and my heart is racing, you guys. My heart is racing. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna kill us, he's gonna kill us, he's gonna kill us. He didn't even follow us outside the door. He just stopped. So I don't know if his friends like stopped him. I don't know like what. And we had went with some of our friends, but like they didn't want to leave. Like they were hanging out with the other dudes. Like they were cool with it. Even when things were getting rowdy, they kept trying to tell me and Skillet to like shut the F up and just have fun, and just to take the drink. So now, as we're waiting, I'm like whispering, oh, I said her name. Alexis, make sure to cut this part out, you don't forget. So as we're waiting, I said her name, so I have to do it again. So as we're waiting, I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm not going to talk, I'm going to text you, stay on the phone. So I don't know why I whispered right now to you guys, sorry. I told her like, I'm not going to talk, but I'm gonna have you on the phone, I'm going to text you. She's like, okay. If you guys are ever in a scary situation like that, call the person and just text them like, don't say nothing, or don't mute yourself, but have them mute them, have them mute themselves so like their noise don't come through, but they can still hear you. And so I'm like messaging her and stuff like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And she's like, I will. Skillet is texting someone to come pick us up and stuff. And they end up showing up before my mom's friend shows up. So I tell my mom's friend, like, can you just meet us at the gas station and I can just go with you? And she's like, yeah. So I'm laughing because like it's so stupid. So we go to the gas station. So like that person picks us up, gets in the car. It's an older gentleman too. He's like, dang, that's crazy. Like, man, he was trying to do that. He's such a pervert. Boy, you're a pervert too. He takes us to the gas station and I tell Skillet, like, get out. And she's like, I thought we were just dropping you off. I'm like, get out of the car, because I wasn't gonna let her be alone with him. And she's like, I hang out with him all the time. I don't care. When I'm here and I see it, I can't. Like, what if something happens to you? And she's like, Alexis, stop. And I'm like, get out of the car. Get the f out of the car. And so he tells her, like, get out of the car, like, I'm not trying to have any drama. And she's like, okay. And she was like, thanks for the ride. And he's like, sure. Like, he's like annoyed with her. She's annoyed with me. She's like texting him sorry because they were supposed to hang out, I guess. And I blocked it. My mom's friend comes and picks us up and she's all mad and she's like, what is she doing here? And I was like, she was trying to hang out with someone who was older. And so she starts yelling at her, telling her, like, you have to do better. Like, why are you guys putting you guys, you know, yourself in these situations? And my friend's just like, quiet. And she's like, what do I take her? And I was like, well, I told her she could spend the night. And she's like, why did you do that? And I'm like, because I don't want her to be alone. And I was supposed to go with her. And so she's like, get in the car right now. So we get in the car, and inside, you guys, little Lex was like screaming because I'm like, someone cares, someone cares, someone cares. And I didn't care. She was cussing me out, y'all. She was calling me ugly little kid. What you doing? You over here looking like little boys. Like, what are you guys thinking? Like, these people are perverts. And I didn't care. I was like, scream my ear off. Like, hate me if you won't. I don't care. Like, I'm just God. You came through. Like, oh my God. I felt so like she came. She picked me up, y'all. Like, she came and got me. Dun, 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 dun. Like, she got me. She came and got me. So I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. I will continue the Nanny series. Let me know what look I should do, what palettes I should play with. I would definitely love to know down below. I love you guys so much. If you guys enjoy my story times, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Share the video if you guys want others to watch it, and if you guys, you know, can relate, or if you want someone to hear like, hey, you're not alone. Oh, you guys are so amazing. I love the community that we have built. It really makes me so freaking happy, because it sucks when you honestly feel like you are alone and no one else in the world can understand your feelings, your thoughts, all this. And it's just like, you're home here. I love you guys so much. Besos a todos, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Make sure to give me a big thumbs up if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'll put some outtakes so you guys can how many times I get interrupted. We got it done. Boom. Chicka keep bing chicka bing chicka bing. You were what, baby?
Getting this chair so I can use it over there.
Oh, okay. Can you guys close the door? People close to them. Who is it?
Okay, then let's go.
Oh, really?
10,000 steps.